She said it with a smile, one of those perfectly polished grins laced with poison, sharper than shards of broken glass. "No construction workers at the wedding," she chuckled, eyes darting toward me. I didn't tense. My pulse didn't skip. I simply nodded. "Of course," I replied, and in that instant, I accepted the declaration of war. My brother Daniel and I were inseparable growing up. We shared everything: bunk beds, scraped knees, even bloodied knuckles from sticking up for one another at school. He was the first to celebrate when I passed my contractor's license exam. Told me, "You don't just build houses, man. You build legacies." But legacy doesn't mean much when you're standing in oil-streaked boots beside someone flaunting designer heels. Her name was Belle. Glossy on the outside, cold underneath. The kind of woman who posed for pictures with a smile and sneered at janitors the moment no one was watching. Daniel brought her home a year ago. At first, I figured she was just a passing phase. Turns out she was a Category 5 disaster, one that didn't just shake the foundation but leveled everything in its path. The change in him started small. The day he flinched during a hug, like my touch might leave a stain. Then he stopped calling me bro, started using Jake, like I was some stranger. But the day I truly felt the shift was when he asked if I could dress a little less industrial for their engagement party. I stood in the back that night, glass full but untouched, watching as Belle flaunted her ring and a laugh faker than her tan. Her circle whispered as they eyed me. One even asked if I was part of the catering staff. Daniel said nothing. He watched it happen. And he let it. I could have walked away. But that's not who I am. Not when it comes to family. Not when it comes to betrayal. So I stayed quiet, and I paid attention. People like Belle never notice the quiet ones. They underestimate the ones who don't shout. She assumed I was too thick-headed to catch the red flags, too blue-collar to understand financial tricks. She didn't realize I saw the tweaks to the prenup. The secret meetings with a man named Clayton Rivers, introduced as a wedding planner. Only he wasn't. He was an estate attorney and an ex-lover. I brought in a buddy from private security. Got everything, the footage, the paperwork, even a confession, coaxed out during one of her tipsy rooftop champagne rants. "Once we're married," she said with a giggle, "I can finally move Daniel's assets into my name. My little fixer says the foundation he set up can be dissolved with a single signature." She laughed. I didn't. When I told Daniel, he wouldn't hear it. No surprise there. Love can make even the smartest men blind. Or maybe it wasn't love at all. Maybe it was the way she looked at him, like he was a prize to be displayed instead of a man to be cherished. Some men fall hard for admiration, even the fake kind. So I didn't argue. Didn't try to prove anything. I kept my mouth shut. But I made one promise. No construction workers at the wedding. Fine. There wouldn't be. Not in 2 months. That's how long I planned. Every word, every line, every move. Like blueprints for a house. Only this time, I was building something else entirely. She had her vision set. Grand, glittering, overflowing with the so-called right people. Politicians, venture capitalists, even a handful of celebrities she'd paid just to make appearances. All of them under one roof. A spectacle more than a ceremony. Daniel, still clinging to the hope that things between us could be patched up, reached out, invited me to the rehearsal dinner. Said he wanted to make peace. I smiled, gave him a hug, and slipped a flash drive into his suit pocket. No explanation. No words. That night, he watched it all by himself. Every file. Every voice recording. Every intimate moment she shared with another man. Every quiet conversation outlining how she'd strip him of everything once the vows were exchanged. He didn't call. Didn't send a single message. But I saw him at sunrise the next morning. Red eyes, but hands steady. He gave me a single nod, and that told me everything. The ceremony was set in a vineyard. Picturesque, extravagant, as artificial as the woman in white. Guests filled the rows. Cameras hovered like scavengers. And there she was, in her gown, pure white and full of lies, standing proud, waiting for her moment, ready for the spotlight, and for the access to Daniel's wealth. Then Daniel appeared, walking calmly to the altar. A mic clipped to his lapel, smile smooth and practiced. He looked out over the crowd and said, "Thank you all for being here. I just have a quick announcement." He paused. Stillness fell over the place like a dropped curtain. "This wedding is off." A collective gasp rang through the air, but hers was sharpest. Belle's lips parted, her hands shaking as they clutched the bouquet like it might anchor her. Daniel turned to her and said, "I know all about Clayton, about the hidden accounts, about your plan to strip me clean." Then he faced the audience again. She didn't want any construction workers at her wedding. He lifted a hand, pointing toward the back. "But my brother's a builder. He built the home I grew up in. He built the strength I stand on. And today, he helped rebuild me." He turned and walked away. I didn't move, didn't crack a grin, just held her gaze. And that's when she unraveled. She screamed, denied everything, lashed out and slapped Daniel as the guests raised their phones to record the chaos. Security moved in, asked her to leave. She refused. They escorted her out. Her veil caught on her heels, mascara bleeding down her face. And just like that, the image she'd tried to sculpt collapsed. I found Daniel waiting near my truck. We sat on the hood like we used to when we were kids. We didn't say much, didn't need to. After a while, he muttered, "You really had her convinced she'd won." I shrugged. "She never saw me coming." He let out a dry laugh, half bitterness, half relief. "Thank you." I didn't say, "You're welcome." Some debts don't need words. Some justice doesn't need an audience. She called weeks later, left a voicemail, said it was all a misunderstanding. I deleted it. I still build things, still lace up these boots, still get my hands dirty, but I don't go to weddings anymore, unless I'm there to take them apart.